Hey everybody, it's Dan Cheney, and it's time for another Music Charts Archive show right here on DJNTV. You know, this show is going to be released on the 77th birthday of arguably the top frontman in the history of rock and roll, Mick Jagger. It's actually Sir Mick. He's been knighted. The Rolling Stones are legendary, but this week I'm going to go a little more obscure. I'll be counting down Mick Jagger's highest charting songs outside of the Rolling Stones, including his solo work and duets. So join me as we look at Mick's work without Keith, Charlie, Ronnie, and Bill on this week's edition of the Music Charts Archive Show.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Welcome to this week's Music Charts Archive show. Today, for Mick Jagger's birthday, we're counting down his 10 highest charting singles outside of the Rolling Stones. So let's start that chart. Number 10 is the song Sweet Thing by Mick Jagger. Now, Mick Jagger's third studio album was called Wandering Spirit, and it was his only solo album in the 90s. It was released in February of 1993. Sweet Thing was the first single released from that album, and it only peaked at number 84. Jagger wrote the song and co-produced it with Rick Rubin. It did make the top 10 in a few European countries. Jagger's Sweet Thing debuted on the chart the same week that Mary J. Blige debuted with her song Sweet Thing, one of only a handful of times that two songs with the same title by two different artists debuted in the same week. Number 9 is Don't Look Back by Peter Tosh with Mick Jagger. Don't Look Back was originally recorded in 1965 on the Motown label by The Temptations, and it was a top 20 R&B hit. It was co-written by Smokey Robinson and has been covered by artists like Al Green and Phil Collins and Tina Marie. Reggae artist Peter Tosh recorded a cover in 1978 for his album Bush Doctor and shared vocals on that track with Mick Jagger. That version peaked at number 81 in November of 1978. The two performed the song on Saturday Night Live, and Tosh also showed up at a couple times on the Rolling Stones US tour in 1978. At number 8, Throwaway by Mick Jagger. Throwaway was the second single from Jagger's second solo album, Primitive Cool. After the Rolling Stones album Dirty Work, Jagger decided not to tour that album so he could work on this one, much to the chagrin of Keith Richards. And it ended up being not very well received as his first solo album. The song Throwaway peaked at number 67 in December of 1987. Guitarist Jeff Beck plays on the album and also appears on the performance-based video for the song. Number 7 is Ruthless People by Mick Jagger. Ruthless People was a 1986 movie starring Danny DeVito, Bette Midler, and Judge Reinhold. And in the movie, a couple kidnaps their boss's wife only to find out that he doesn't want her back. It's kind of like the O. Henry story, The Ransom of Red Chief. The soundtrack for the album included the top 10 hit by Billy Joel, Modern Woman, and it also included a track by Luther Vandross, Give Me the Reason. And this title song from the movie by Jagger was also on the soundtrack, and it peaked at number 51. The song was written by Jagger along with Daryl Hall and Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics. Weird Al and also recorded a parody called Toothless People. Number 6 is Let's Work by Mick Jagger. This was the first single from Jagger's Primitive Cool album, and it cracked the top 40, peaking at number 39 in October of 1987. Jagger wrote and produced the song with Dave Stewart of the Eurythmics. The video has Mick jogging down the road with traffic and various groups of people, but he was in a New York soundstage, and the video made use of green screen technology and conveyor belts. The video was directed by, and oh my gosh, help me with this name, Zbigniew Rybczynski, who actually won an Oscar for animated short films. Welcome back to this week's Music Charts Archive show. Today I'm counting down Mick Jagger's top songs outside of the Rolling Stones, and we're up to the top 5. Number 5 is Lucky in Love by Mick Jagger. This was the second single released from Jagger's first solo album, She's the Boss. It peaked at number 38 in June of 1985. Jagger co-wrote the song with Carlos Alomar, a Puerto Rican guitarist who played with the Apollo Theater house band and later was a frequent collaborator with David Bowie. Instrumentalists on Lucky in Love included Jeff Beck and Herbie Hancock. The video shows Jagger in a casino and at the horse track. Number 4, T.H.E. The Hardest Ever by will.i.am featuring Mick Jagger and Jennifer Lopez. In 2011, will.i.am of the Black Eyed Peas released this solo single that featured Jagger and Jennifer Lopez. It would get as high as number 36 on the charts. It was a top 10 hit in Canada and the UK. The song debuted at the American Music Awards that year and was released on iTunes just hours after that performance. A music video was released a couple weeks after that. It was originally going to be included on will.i.am's studio album #Willpower, but was ultimately left off the album. This song has been Jagger's only appearance on the singles chart after the year 2000. Number 3 is Just Another Night by Mick Jagger. This was Jagger's first solo single from his first solo album, She's the Boss. It peaked at number 12 in the spring of 1985. Jagger wrote the song and co-produced it with Bill Laswell. And as the songwriter, Jagger was accused of copyright infringement by Jamaican reggae singer Patrick Alley, who also had a song called Just Another Night. The jury ruled in favor of Jagger, however, in 1988. Mick Jagger's Just Another Night hit number 1 in the Rock Tracks chart. In the music video, Jagger's love interest is played by Ray Don Chong, actress and daughter of Cheech and Chong's Tommy Chong. Number 2 on our list is Dancing in the Street by Mick Jagger with David Bowie. Later in the year 1985, Jagger teamed up with David Bowie for a single-only release of a remake of the classic Motown song Dancing in the Street. The original version by Martha and the Vandellas hit number 2. Other acts that have covered the song include the Mamas and the Papas and Van Halen. Jagger and Bowie recorded their version to raise money as part of the Live Aid famine relief effort. It peaked at number 7 in the US. But in the UK, it was number 1 for 4 weeks. After Live Aid, the pair performed the song just once more at the Prince's Trust concert on June 20th, 1986. And at number 1, the highest charting single that Mick Jagger's had outside of the Rolling Stones is a duet with the Jacksons, State of Shock. A couple years before this song hit, Michael Jackson recorded 3 tracks with Freddie Mercury of Queen, and State of Shock was actually originally a Michael Jackson-Freddie Mercury duet. But Mick Jagger was recruited to record the song with the Jacksons for their 1984 album Victory. I don't know why the Freddie Mercury version was never ultimately used for anything. The song peaked at number 3 in August of 1984. Bringing Live Aid back into the conversation, Jagger performed State of Shock at Live Aid, not with the Jacksons, but with Tina Turner. This song would be the final top 10 hit for the Jacksons as a group. Well, there you have it. Mick Jagger's 10 chart singles outside of the Rolling Stones. Do you have a favorite? What do you think is the reason Mick never really had a bigger solo career than apparently he wanted to have? Let me know in the comments. This has been Dan Cheney for the Music Charts Archive Show, and be sure to join me again next time for another Top 10 list right here on DJNTV.